soft over hill and vale. When friends mute with grief stood around.
I am a dedicated abolitionist, and I wrote numerous nature poetry in my time. I was best friends with Ralph Waldo Emerson, a fellow transcendental poet. I stayed for 2 years in the Walden Pond where I was secluded and able to continue my studies in peace.
I was born May 22nd, 1844. I was one of the leading artists in the Impressionist movement of the later part of the 1800s. I was the daughter of a well-to-do real estate agent and investment broker, and my upbringing reflected my family's high social standing. Though women of my day were discouraged from pursuing a career, I enrolled in Philadelphia's Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts at age 16, despite my family's strong objections.
I left school as a teenager to live a reclusive life on the family homestead. My biggest writing influences were William Wordsworth and my school principal at Amherst Academy.
I received the most Pulitzer Prize from any poet that has come before me. One of my most well-known poems is The Road Not Taken. On my epitaph it reads, "I had a lover's quarrel with the world." I was a licensed minister, and my good friends called me the Sage of Concord because they saw me as wise. My friends were Henry Thoreau, Nathaniel Hawthorne, and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, other famous writers during the Transcendental period.
My father David was an alcoholic and abandoned me and my 2 siblings after my mother's death. I gambled away whatever money my family sent me while I was at the University of Virginia. I am obsessed with cats, and I often write with one on my left shoulder. I am credited for defining the modern short story, and I was the earliest adopter of the genre of science fiction.
I am one of the preeminent artists of the American West. I was born in 1861 in New York. I am the son of a comfortable, if not wealthy, family, and I was one of the first students to attend Yale's University School of the Fine Arts, where I became a skillful painter. I was one of the last of the older generation of American romantic landscape painters. I was born in Germany and moved to Massachusetts, and I was determined to be a painter at 21. 2 of my paintings were purchased for the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
I grew up in New York City and started my career as a teacher at the age of 17. And then I went on to write one of the most famous poems, Leaves of Grass. I was a lover of both men and women.
I was born on July 25th, 1844 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Throughout the mid-19th century, I studied sculpting in Paris. In 1870, I started teaching at Pennsylvania Academy, but I resigned in 1886 when I refused to stop using nude models. A naturalist figure was I, a portraitist and sculptor as well. I was considered one of the most influential artists in U.S. history.
I was responsible for the unfinished portrait of George Washington, known as the Athenaeum, that appeared on the $1 bill and a variety of U.S. postage stamps. I painted portraits of the first U.S. presidents, all 6 of them, including the second, John Adams.
'Twas a calm, still night, and the moon's pale light shone soft over hill